Just when you get it on, just tell me. Just move your finger or something. Okay. Arizona is filled with many stories and tales of lost gold and gold mines. But truly the real stories are the history of these people that have come into these mountains to search for gold. They stake their claims, they work these mines, look for prospects, outcroppings. This is all part of the mining history of this part of the country. The tales and stories of the Superstition Mountains have added much to it, but really the real prospectors are the ones that are still out here digging in these holes and searching for gold. They too are trying to fill a dream, finding some instant wealth, but sometimes they continue with their mines until they actually find something worthwhile. Sometimes it's low-grade ore, which might pay $40, $50, or $100 a ton. They can haul it into town to a mill and have it processed and have a profitable operation. And even the greatest discoveries in the Southwest, the great mines at Ajo, at Kearney, at Tucson, were discovered by prospectors. And then the big companies came in with their capital and money and developed these mines. This is part of Arizona history. This is a part of the mining story, and particularly here in the Superstition area. Although very few rich mines have ever been developed in this area, we find Goldfield and Silver King at the top of the many tales. And the two mines together probably produced about $25 million in the years that they operated in this area. So as you look over this mining claim that we're going to spend a day on, you're going to find some interesting things about how a small operation continues and works every day still here in the Arizona desert.
We're going to my house. Once in a while glance at me. What do you think of these mountain roads, mining roads we got to cover to?
I wish the entire place was these kind of roads.
Uh-huh.
Especially during the winter season when all the tourists come.
Yeah.
Then they wouldn't be so full of junk and trash.
How long does it take you to get in and out from your house to town?
Well, the way I drive, it takes about 30 minutes.
Yeah. These are pretty rough roads. Driving that fast, you just used to the roads, or know where you're going, huh?
Know where the bumps are.
Know where the bumps are.
Can't get away from them either.
Uh-huh.
This is Bob Ward's cabin. He's returned to the mine here. This is what the scenery is like near the Mina de El Sombrero, which lies southeast of Apache Junction about 7 miles. This is looking up at the Twin Sisters, one of the noted landmarks in the area. And this is here at one of the many mining shafts that cover the property. This particular shaft is not being worked at this time. But this is what mining is all about in the Arizona desert. As we look over the mining claims here at the Mina de El Sombrero mine, you can see equipment in the distance, pickup trucks, barricades that mark and protect the entrance of the mine from wandering cattle that wander across this desert. You can see the mini saguaro cactus too. This is really a forest in itself, but a forest of saguaros. This is one of the many office buildings that are located out here besides the old mine shack which Bob Ward lives in. Bob serves as the watchman and also works in the mine on occasion when needed. We have started up the Caterpillar now, and we're bringing it up. It's actually a Case 450, which is used for building roads, moving muck around the mine dumps. We're going to bring it up near one of the dumps, and you can get an idea of some of the work that goes on continuously here all the time. Mining is an important venture in Arizona. It's really difficult to find an operation like this still being maintained in Arizona, where the costs are reliable enough that we can, afford it, basically. Most mining operations are so expensive because of cost of materials and cost of equipment that they're just unheard of in this state anymore. But this is the mining operation. It is continually in operation here just southeast of Apache Junction, some 7 miles. The 450 is an excellent piece of equipment that can be operated quite cost effective in a small mining operation such as this, particularly in building roads. Here a road is being built up to one of the dumps so that the ore can be hauled down and loaded into trucks. Now we're preparing to do some more road work here, which will require some blasting. And
it's been laying around a little while, and the outer case has got a little moisture damage is all there. This is 40% gelatin, which is not really true dynamite. It's what they call giant powder. It's ammonium nitrate, and it's really safe stuff. It's not as bad as the old-fashioned dynamite, the TNT and so on like that. But it's a comparatively safe substance. This is the fuse. This particular fuse is about 1 minute per foot. You have to generally cut a piece of it and light it and time how long it takes to be sure before you use it. These are what they call thermite type connectors. The little thing looks a hello, Duke. They're not good for dogs to eat. These and the blasting caps that I'll show you in a minute are the really dangerous part to handle. This is used to ignite the fuse. And then the quarry cord, that's this stuff right here. The quarry cord will lay in this little slot. The fuse will go in this end. When you light the quarry cord, it will burn down to this, and then there's a little thing in here that will ignite the fuse. The fuse, the other end of the fuse, is then set in a blasting cap. And these blasting caps, by the way, are the most dangerous part of the whole thing. They're very sensitive. You see it, just a little silver tube, says blasting cap, explosive danger on it. The fuse goes in that end. Now the cap, we'll cut one of these sticks of dynamite, and we'll set the cap down into the powder itself with the fuse sticking out, and we'll tie the fuse around the stick. Then we'll put one of the thermal connectors on the other end of the fuse, and then the quarry cord, which will run all the way back to a safe place where we're going to light this from. I think this will probably give you a pretty good idea of what dynamite does. We're just going to set 3 sticks of this off, which is, well, what I'm going to do here is cut a short piece of fuse. I don't have my crimping pliers with me, which is a tool that's made for this. Tom here came to the house this morning and got me moving too early, so I'm going to have to use my pocket knife here. Now you may wonder that I'm cutting such a short piece of fuse. There's really a good reason for that, because I'm going to use quarry cord here to control, so that we can move a long ways away from this charge before we actually do it. I'm just going to set the fuse there for a minute. Now we take a stick of dynamite and we cut a little hole in it. Not very big a hole, just a little one. Then we take the fuse and We set it to the thermal cap that I was talking about. Just like this. Set the dynamite down here for a minute. And we seat it real good, so it's right down in there. And we take an end of this quarry cord. We put it right in that slot. Bend it around a few times. Twist it right down so that it's securely attached into that slot. Like that. And we take the blasting gap. Now this is the part where this gets dangerous. You take the cactus stabbed me in the leg. You set the fuse in the cap. You don't twist it or turn it. You just simply set it securely. And you set the cap in the hole in the stick of dynamite. In this case, we're going to set 3 sticks off. So all you have to do at this point is put the other 2 sticks around it like that. You can use tape or whatever. I'm going to use a piece of rubber band to sort of hold these together a little bit. There we have a charge. Now for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to set this right on top of this rock. Okay. So in the close-up there, we've got to set, the charge is set. We put a few things on top of it just so that when we film it later, you'll get some idea of what happens. It'll blow these things up in the air. Now, this quarry cord, we're going to run several hundred yards or feet, well, about 100 yards, down to where we're going to station these cameras. And then we'll light it at that point. It'll burn the quarry cord very rapidly. This burns very rapidly. All right. Everybody ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we're going to light the fuse. All right. There it goes. Get ready.
Is it on the rock?
And it's done. Hit the thermal connector.
Oh, that's what flashed?
Yeah. Here we go.
It's like going to work. Don't like that.
Some gold and burnstone in it.
Man, you better talk to you about that. You know, you read all the records.
You look good here.
I can sit here next to you.
No, go ahead, Robert.
I don't know anything about it, Ted.
Okay. Want to talk about anything? This hole, nobody's really sure when it was dug. It was here in 1963, and it was probably started back in 1903. We have some records by inference of it going back to that date. This is a perfect example of what miners did. There's no timbering in here, there's nothing like that. It's just more or less a hole chisel. They were trying to follow a little vein or strainer here. Or maybe just hopes and dreams, it's hard to tell. But in any event, as we go on further down into this, you'll see that a great deal of effort was done. People hauled by hand in small buckets all of this rock out of here in the hopes of getting rich.
1002. 3004.
Are we ready here?
Yes, sir.
Steps that I'm standing on here, as you can see, these people went to a lot of work to pour cement, brought it in here, hand laid this stuff, carried the water into here to make them. A lot of effort went into this, just so they could carry these boxes of rocks up and down this thing. Tell me when you're ready.
Go ahead.
All right, this pile of rocks here that I'm sitting on, you may not be able to see it real well, but this is a cave-in. Either that or it may have been blasted in. We're not sure when the last people closed this part of the mine. According to the Bureau of Miners reports that we have, there's about 380 feet of both shaft and tunnel and audit and whatnot back here. We haven't got it open yet. We plan to as soon as we can to open this up so we can go on back this way. The drift that's behind the camera from the way you're looking at it, it was apparently started to come around and intersect with this shaft down here that had collapsed on them. Apparently there's something down there they wanted.
Right there.
Yeah, as you can see, where this is remains of some of the problems they had to contend with.
Rattlesnakes deep inside of mines, especially during the winter months.
Oh, this thing's almost petrified. The pieces of skin and stuff that are left. They're
just keep going. I'm shooting it.
I'm gonna come past you, Tom.
Okay, go ahead. There won't be much light, but it'll look sharp. Yeah. Now, Don, if you want to, like you're picking or something, it'll look good.
Never.
All right, Arizona, underground, is an interesting aspect of our history. Miners have been digging in these old mines for the last 150 years, searching for gold and silver. But most of all, these old mines are the dreams of those who came west as early as the 1850s in search of their wealth. Very good. I might use this for the end.
Let me know when the camera comes
No,
on.
just keep on going. I'm going to dub over some of this. I want to do once. Of course, this is in the land of the Lost Dutchman Mine. This mine has been known as the Mina El Sombrero, and it belonged to A.W. Tackey at one time, who believed there was gold here and silver. He worked this mine as early as 1903 and continued even with his sons following his footsteps. We are now below the ground about 100 feet, 150 feet, searching through a vein of ore that could have silver or gold, according to the geologists that have looked at it. Fascinating story. The tales of the Southwest continue to interest men and women alike. Weary prospectors have traveled these steps entering this old mine in the Superstition Mountains of Arizona. Why would anybody build concrete steps down into this shaft? Or I guess tunnel or drift. Who knows for sure? Maybe this is one of the real secrets of the rugged superstitions. Like you're working, that's good. It don't matter as long as you're moving or maybe shadows, but it's going to be neat.
Now, what do you want?
Let me just shoot some of this for a minute. Even old gold mines can be haunting. Spirits of those who worked here a century ago continue to move about. Hey, Bob.
Ready?
Well, the first thing you got to do if you want to stake a claim, the very first thing, it pays to find what they call a discovery, which means you've got to find minerals. Something that at least would cause you to believe that there might be some mineralization in the area. You don't have to find a vein of gold. All you have to do is find something, whether it's a geological formation or something that a prudent man would assume would be an excellent place to look for gold. Then you go to the county recorder's office and you fill out a form that says, it's a notice of location form, You have to describe the area that you're claiming. Mineral claims have various limitations depending on the kind of claim as to how big they can be and how they're laid out. In this case, these are lode claims, and they're laid out in a grid pattern that conforms to the United States survey grids through here. That gives us a survey monument marker to tie the claims to so that they can be readily found in case of dispute. A lot of times the old-timers just tied them to a mountain or a prominent landmark like a waterfall, something like that. He said it begins so many feet from this mountain or whatever. Anymore, that's not done too often because it's too hard to prove where your claim is located. Once you've recorded this, county recorder's office, then you have to come out and put these markers like this up. You have to have one on every corner of the claim, one in the middle of each end of the length of the claim, and one discovery monument. The discovery monument is where you actually feel that there are minerals at that point. The discovery monuments have to have a claim form in them. Regrettably, I don't have one handy with me here at the moment. They have to have this form that says what the name of the claim is, gives its boundaries and legal description, and the date on which you claimed it. Once you've done that, and as you can see, these are fairly large posts. It takes quite a bit of effort to get them all up. But to do these claims out here took a crew of 6 people 10 days, and they worked hard, daylight till dark, to put these things up. A lot of rough country, rugged country to measure, until you have to tape measure every last foot of it, make sure that your lines are straight, make sure that all the boundaries go where they belong. Once you've done that, you've pretty well got your claim set. Then you have 90 days to record with the Bureau of Land Management. And once you have done that, you have a valid claim. Now, it doesn't mean it can't be disputed, it just means you've got through the worst of it.
When you get it on, just tell me. Just move your finger or something.
How about